William Saliba says, I'm staying, it's my home. Bellerin wants out. Jesus, is he coming? Or Chelsea sniffing about at the last moment to crush Arsenal's dreams? This is the one place you need to be on a Tuesday night. I did make a mistake. That's my fault. I said Wednesday. On a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. It's a little bit later than that. But we're here, and we've got the best transfer news going about. So you get your cup of tea ready, because I've got Steve, the transfer expert, in the background, ready to go. Let's go. Let's get it. Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live, and as you've seen, my sincerest apologies for the mix-up. I put Wednesday instead of Tuesday, but as you know, the regulars know, every Tuesday, 8 o'clock is the Arsenal show. I'm joined by my co-host, Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, mate? How you doing? I think you thought that was fate tomorrow, because I think you're expecting an announcement, and I think you're telling me something that I don't know. So
yeah,
it could be fate.
We are expecting an announcement. Hopefully, it will be announced that Arsenal have made an official bid for Gabriel Jesus, and he wants to come to Arsenal. That's what is in the back of my mind. What I'm thinking is going to happen, but it remains to be seen. But don't worry, we've got some updates for you. We've got some topics we want to talk about, transfer wise, of course. And yeah, the best place to be, because if we don't know, we'll find out. All right, first and foremost, the topic of the day: William Saliba speaking on the subject of his future on Arsenal on the TF1 channel. William Saliba confirmed that he would be returning to his parent club this pre-season, dashing Marseille's hopes of retaining the French youngster. The former Marseille loanee said, I belong to Arsenal. I still have 2 years there. I will be there for pre-season with Arsenal. I've played 0 matches with Arsenal, and I want to show them what I'm made of. And I have a chance to play for the supporters and for this big club. He went on to say, that doesn't depend solely on me. In any case, leaving Arsenal like this would have been a shame. We touched on it last week, Steve, but we're going to go in a bit more. William Saliba, it seems like, I don't know whether it's a domino effect. The fact that Arteta came out the week before is probably something to do with the timing of the meeting that they had. And it seems like everyone's reading off the same page now. But it's kind of doubled down on what Mikel Arteta said the other week, where he said that William Saliba's staying. Now William Saliba's confirmed it. Good news for Arsenal then.
Very good news for Arsenal, mate. I don't know if it's going to be coming home in December, but Saliba's definitely coming home for the next season. So very pleasing. A quality centre back, someone that we need, someone to give Ben White and Gabriel some competition. It's not fake news what people have been hearing in maybe in papers or on some other accounts today. I can tell you that the reports that Napoli are after him, they are after him, and Napoli do want him. And I think one thing we've got to do, Kieran, we've got to look after this kid, because there's going to be teams who will snap him up just like this. He's with Arsenal for the next 2 years, and I think we've got to make sure that he gets his game time that he wants, because we need to get this kid to sign a new contract. But he's one well of a player. He's done very well at Marseille. He's a French international, now, and that's from Marseille. So they've done very well. So I suppose we've got to give a really big thank you to them. But he's home now, and we want him to push White and Gabriel all the way, because it's all about competition, and competition means better.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. But if you look at the Arsenal bringing back William Saliba, but like you said, we've got Ben White, who we hopefully position, Gabriel, and then we've got Rob Holden as well. That's a solid four centre backs to have in a team. Good squad depth as well. Sound's gone. Have you muted it? What happened there? Steve's sound is all of a sudden gone. If anyone else can hear him, let me know. It might be me, but yeah, Steve's sound is gone, but he'll be back in a second. Yeah, William Saliba, great news that he's going to be staying at Arsenal, and now Arsenal have a solid strength in depth. There was a little look what happened at the end of the season last season. We had Gabriel and Ben White in for the majority of the season. Rob Holding came in for and done a few bits and bobs here and there. Done well, was very solid up until the Tottenham game, where he kind of lost his head, got sent off, and we didn't really see him for the rest of the time. This is where you have your strength in depth. This is where you have some solid squad players. So it's not just relying on Rob Holding. It's also we've got the depth there. And having a French international to bail it out with Ben White and Gabriel is exactly what we need. And if you think about it, those three are pretty much at the same level of their international career as well. Gabriel's probably had the most caps of the three. Ben White's had a couple of call-ups. And William Saliba's in a very similar situation where he's just been called up to the French squad. And he's just starting to get some game time. So you can totally understand why he's added a slight caveat to coming back to Arsenal, which is it doesn't just depend on me, but I'm sure that he will use the 2 years remaining that he has on his contract as a slight bargaining tool, because they do, as Steve said, they do need to show that they're gonna not just have him there for the sake of it, but they need to show that they're going to give William Saliba the game time that he needs, the game time that's going to get him to the World Cup, and the game time that will inevitably make him sign a new contract, because he'll have that trust in the manager. He'll trust the manager himself with his development, because he's a very, very important part of his career at the moment. A very young defender, and he can't really afford to be sitting on the bench. He needs to get game time, whether it's starts off with the cup games and you've got to play your way in, European games and play your way in, so be it. But he's got to bide his time, and then when he does get his opportunity, he's got to take his chance. But it's a great opportunity for him to definitely get some minutes on the board, especially with Arsenal back in Europe now, Steve, and obviously wanting to fight on all four fronts. Not just, look, we're not saying we're going to go for the league, but going for top four and trying to have a couple of decent cup runs is exactly what we want to be doing for next season.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me now.
Yep.
Good. I've just landed my plane, so I've just. Dear, I'm not going through that again. Right. Luckily, there's no one here. No, mate. Just going back to Saliba. We are going to need him. We are going to need him. And as I say, the main thing is that he can push the others, to better performances. There's going to be League Cup games. There's, we're back in Europe now, which I think is a big thing. We didn't want to sort of bring him back sort of under false pretenses where he didn't really want to come back. I feel Arteta's done a really good job. I feel that he's spoke to him. I feel that he's sold him the project, and I think he's got a chance of. I don't know what you think, Kieran, but I really feel like he's got a chance of cementing a place past Gabriel and White. I think he's got that. I think he's got the ability in him. I know he's still only young, but I genuinely believe that he's that type of quality. I've watched him quite a lot recently now. Now I've known that he's coming back. Didn't watch him so much when he was at Marseille, but I've checked out clips and stuff like that in whole of the first halves and bits of second halves in games that he's played for Marseille. And White and Gabriel will have to step up their game, because this is one quality football that we got here. And I don't know what Holding's going to do. But look, you need a squad. And we've always said that. And the important thing is that they're happy. There's no use having them back if they're not happy. So he seems happy. He's up for the fight. And it's exciting.
Yeah. How much do you feel like, looking back on it, a lot of the comments that were coming out of France whenever William Saliba spoke were very one-sided. It seems like, going off of the way he's speaking now, I know he's had their meetings with Arsenal and he's had a bit more clarity on his situation. But Arsenal never once said that he wouldn't be coming back. In fact, at Christmas, around the time when they played PSG and he had a really good game, and he was tasked with marking Messi, putting a few good changes that were very well documented. And Edu and Mikel Arteta both came out then and quite clearly stated that he's doing well. We've been watching him, we've been over there to watch him, and that we're keeping an eye on his progression. And he's an Arsenal player and he'll be coming back. It was only the other day where Mikel Arteta really doubled down on that. But could we've just been reading a lot into what the French tabloids were coming out with, and it's obviously they're going to try their best to spin it in some way where it makes it look benefit to the French team that's out there.
Well, look, he's obviously he speaks to the French newspapers. Yeah, he's not speaking to the English newspapers. He's speaking in French to the French newspapers. Yeah. And for once, whenever we get things back come across from other countries, it's always that little bit. We can take things the wrong way, like they can take the wrong way with things with us. Yeah. So, and look, let's face it, Kieran. I think it was you that brought it up. When he's over there and he's playing for a club, you're not going to slag him off. You're not going to say, "Oh, I don't like it here." You're not going to say, "Oh, I can't wait to get back to Arsenal." What are you going to say if the press asks you a question? "Oh, I'd love it here. Of course, I'd like to stay. I'd want to stay here. Yeah. The Marseille are great." I mean, you brought up again the fans at Marseille.
Yeah, did you see them? Did you see them?
They're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. As soon as he said that, I went on YouTube and put in Marseille fans, and I'm like, wow, I can see where Kieran's coming from now.
They're not fans you want to mess with.
Yeah, you are not. They're like a Roma thing. Like, you say, you go over there, and even if you hate it, you sort of say, "Oh, this is brilliant. I love it." But you're gonna, if you're asked if you're gonna stay, would you stay? Do you love it here? Well, you're gonna come out in the press. You're gonna say, "Yeah, I love." And when that comes across, you do get some Arsenal fans who will say, "Oh, well, what's he going? You don't want to leave. You don't want him. Don't want to get away." And you can misread things. You know, you got to be a little bit savvy enough to realise that, what does a player play? What does he say? So I think it was really misconstrued by some. But when you look at it, what was he supposed to say? And all it does, and then it comes back in from the newspapers, came back from French telly, then it comes back into our newspapers, what he said, and it comes back to our TV. And then all of a sudden you've got, there's this geezer, he loves it, he don't want to come to Arsenal, don't want to play for Arsenal again. Which ain't the case. Yeah,
definitely. So high hopes for William Saliba next year. High hopes for William Saliba next year. That's it. Very high hope for him. Another player who is coming back, who was out on loan, but he definitely doesn't want to be here, is Hector Bellerin. Hector Bellerin is returned to Arsenal, but only in passing. And apparently 5 clubs trialing. We'll be checking that out, trust me, because 3 of these are Italian, and last thing I knew, they didn't have no money. Real Betis are leading the way after the Spanish international spent 21-22 season on loan there. However, they either want him on, there's speculation on both sides. that they either want him on a free transfer, so that they can pay him the $100,000 a week, which I'll get to that in a second, or they want obviously a reduced fee because they want to be able to get him, and they currently can't afford him. Yeah. But yeah, no, we will definitely be checking out the links, because this is a Tutto web, so we will be checking out the Italian links. So yeah, they love a bit of speculation. Steve, Hector Bellerin. I think every Arsenal fan feels that it's time to move on. He feels it's time to move on, but. The most important thing for me is Arsenal have been very generous to not only the players that are leaving, but also the clubs that they're leaving to. Surely it's time now to put that aside and make sure that we get some money for these players, because Hector Bellerin's a Spanish international. He just helped Betis win the cup, and now they're asking us to give him on a free. Madness.
Yeah, I mean... Just first, I mean, if we misconstrued the fact that Saliba, that one, we definitely misconstrued this one. I mean,
it's quite clear.
The guy's
and he speaks in English. I love Hector Bellerin. I love his Spanglish. I love his Cockney Spanish accent. It's brilliant. He is one of us, but it's time to move on. It is time to move on. He's made it very clear in no uncertain words.
Fast show.
Yeah.
The Geordie one.
It's time to go, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I want out. Get me away. I crying his eyes out on the pitch. Just please don't let me go back to that place. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I was quite, when I thought I was coming back, I was like, all right, okay. Tommy Asher and Bellerin, if they can be happy together, I wouldn't mind that. Cedric there as well. Because I think on his day, Bellerin's a good player, but there's no doubt about it. This guy does not want to be at Arsenal. And but going back to what you said, absolutely, mate. Do you know what I smell here? I smell another Torreira here. I smell the fact that he's a player who's gone to be at Real Betis. He's absolutely smashed it there. And now they're playing this game, just like Florentino were playing with Torreira, where it's like. Oh, it's Arsenal. But they've got this reputation of, in the end, giving out all these cheapo prices. And, we've sort of made a rod for our own backs in that sense, because I won't be surprised if Real Betis said, look, we'll have you back anyway, but we'll play it along a little bit till the end of the season to see what best price we can get for you, and I'll drop you a couple of million when you get here. Something on them lines.
Like Arsenal cannot let another player go on a free transfer when
what's
they've
he
got
worth,
a year, 2 years left on the contract.
What do you reckon he's worth? Hector Bellerin. People in the comments, what do you reckon he's worth, Hector Bellerin? I mean,
I'd say what's he got, 2 years left?
Yeah.
He's got 2 years left? He's got 2 years left.
And
I'm being generous, He's 27. He's 27. We're not even in his prime yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't.
No,
I'm saying, and I'm being generous, you should be getting 10 mil for Hector Bellerin.
For all the rest, definitely easy.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm being generous. He just helped you win the league. He's got 2 years left of his contract. He's a Spanish international. He's 27.
Yeah.
10 mil is a snip.
We sell Bernardino for 10, and we get rid of Bellerin for 10. We've just sold 2 international
class
players for 20 million quid. 2 players.
Yeah, and they nearly sold, and Roma were trying to get Xhaka for 12 million last year. I don't. What is going on?
Because we've just got this thing about. I think the way they look at it, I think especially with Leno, right? I mean, I know we're talking about Bellerin, but especially with Leno, clubs will look at it. They're not silly, and they'll look at it and think, well, they've just bought a goalkeeper. Yeah, they've got Ramsdale, they've got Matty Ryan the geezer from America coming in. I've forgotten his name, but he's coming in. They know he's been bought, so the first thing that comes in their head, they say, "Well, we know they've got to get rid of Leno, so we'll just say, well, we'll take him off your hands for anything you like." If Arsenal were a bit sensible, they would have hanged this geezer out, not announced it, that they've still got Leno there, and said, look, well, at the moment, he's not going nowhere. We need a big price. Something usually noddle a little bit. But Arsenal don't seem to do that. And I mean, Lex Bellerin, on his day, he's a top player. He's proved himself in Spain. Yeah. But again, same type of thing. Lex Bellerin, they've got Cedric, they've got Tommy Ashew. Cedric does all right when he comes on, and Tommy Ashew is a top player. He's never going to be. So it gives them that little bit of license to be able to offer that price a bit further. Maybe if Arsenal were a little bit clever, because at the end of the day, we're selling our third choice goalkeeper and our third choice right back, and the price goes down. Maybe that's the type of thing. And again, with Torreira, we'll see fourth choice midfielder.
But still, like, look, Hector Bellerin won the Copa del Rey with Betis, the first title they've won in years.
Yeah,
years. Lucas Torreira got player of the season for Fiorentina and was in the one player of the month in Serie A three times.
Yeah,
like, these are not rubbish players. These are players that have not just done well for their clubs that they've been at. They've done well in the league. Other teams would have looked at them and been like, he's done a good job today, or he's done a good season. We might look at him.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. And I think you're right. I think they're looking at Arsenal and thinking, okay, they've given away Mesut Ozil. Okay, that was maybe going to always happen. They gave away Mustafi. Maybe that was always going to happen. Then there's Kolasinac and Socrates. I don't know. Maybe they're coming towards the end of their contracts. Aubameyang. Aubameyang had 18 months left in his contract. They're giving away for free. Of course, they're going to give Bellerin away for free.
Yeah, and they will probably.
They can't. No, they can't. Like, Edu. Like, what's the point in Edu and Richard Garlick if they're going to just keep dishing out our players on a free? Like, it's crazy.
They put themselves in a situation, though, where they're like, as you just said, you just run through it perfectly there. They did this, they do that, they did this, they do that. They do it wrong. They've got to be a bit more clever. And I'm afraid Edu and Garlick, it don't seem they're that very clever. Let's hope it changes. Let's hope what we're saying here don't happen, because we could do with the money. I think we should be getting 15 million for Leno all day long. It's German international. It might probably go to the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And Bellerin, as you said, 12 million. We should be getting at least 20, 27 million, if not maybe even 30 million for me, at the least. And that can go and buy us a top player for that. But they'll just throw it away and it'll go on someone's wages on top of their wages as a bonus, probably. That's what we do.
That is what we do, but hopefully we get to see some transfer money from Hector Bellerin. I like Hector Bellerin. I think it did.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. It did get to a point where he does need to go. I think more so the fans didn't help that. Like, when you've got a player who comes through the ranks, and for me, Hector Bellerin is one of them players who come through the ranks. You could say he come at 15, 16, but that's still a young boy. That's a kid when it comes to this club. Yeah. And to I remember that game where people wouldn't give him back the ball and said, "You're not fit to work," screaming in his face, "You're not fit to wear the shirt." I think it's those points. It's those points there where, as a player, you think to yourself, "Do you know what? I don't need to be here." There's no coming back. And you've seen the likes of a Boué who went through the same thing when he was getting booed by our fans on a regular basis. Your confidence gets shot every time you touch the ball. It's in the back of your mind. Like, I've said it many times. Yeah, booing is counterproductive. You may feel like you've booed when the players have come off the pitch, they've come out and had a good second half, and you feel like that your booing has been beneficial to them coming out and stepping up. It really doesn't make a difference. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. It makes it worse, but it's the manager in the changing room that's going to make the difference and get that team motivated to come out, not your boos. I'm just letting you know that, because I know players and they tell me it doesn't work. It doesn't work. All right.
No.
So, keep your boost
No.
to yourself.
Mm.
All right. So this is one I want you to let me know. I want you to tell me who this player. Mikel Arteta described him as Arsenal's best player in the final third in the past. He's demonstrated his attacking credentials by putting in more crosses per game than any other players in the Gunners squad, grabbing an assist. He also showed what was known to be his lesser defensive side in games by bringing in more tackles, more per 90 than any Arsenal player, 2.4, and managed the second highest of tackle success rate in the squad with 82% success rate. Who am I talking about, Steve?
Defensive. Do you know what? I haven't got a clue, but I'm gonna have to just have to guess. So, Cedric.
Here we go. Cedric soars into the team for another season. This man gets pelters every game, and I'm pretty sure it's from people that are not even watching the game. He gets pelters from people that are watching the game purely because his name is Cedric. Yeah. But I tell you what, if his name was Cedricinho and he was brought from Sao Paulo, and did a little samba dance every time he scored, you would not be talking the same way you would about this geezer. Yes, he's a little bit stiff. Yes, he can be a bit wooden sometimes, but he's got pace. He can cross. Yeah, he should never take a free kick for Arsenal again. Yeah, but as you've seen on the final day, he could have a shot, and we saw that in his first game for Arsenal as well in his debut. If you remember, he scored in his debut. So Cedric soars. I think he deserves a lot more respect. And as the manager went on to say, above all, his professionalism has drawn praise from the club, and it's not a coincidence, Arteta said, that the Portuguese international is impressive form. And it's understood the players expected to report to London Colney next season as the players return after pre-season. I'm happy. We could have spent a summer looking for a replacement right back to challenge Tomiyasu, or we can concentrate on actual priority targets. And for me, it's got to be the latter. You've got to be concentrating on priority targets, not the little nuances like your backup right back who sits there, don't moan, has come in and has done a decent job in the time that Tomiyasu has been out. Steve,
I love it. Yeah,
was there for another season.
Yeah,
happy.
Yeah, over the moon, mate. I've always been in the Cedric Soares camp. Right from I was over the moon when we signed him.
So was I. I was like 2 mil on a loan and then free transfer from Southampton. Yeah.
I was absolutely over the moon. I always used to look at this player, and I see he was at Southampton. We know we both watch all football, so we watch international football, and I'd always seen him in the Portugal side, and he was always the right back for Portugal. He's won European competitions with them, and he was at Southampton. And I always used to look at him and think, why ain't Arsenal bought this guy? We could so do with someone like this who can get forward, he can defend. He's just one of these professionalism, could do the lot. And he's an international footballer, who plays for Portugal. And he was regular. He was bang on that sim sheet every week. So when Arsenal bought him, mate, I was over the moon. And I don't think he's ever let us down. Yes, like you said, he's a little bit wooden every now and then. But again, I think people sometimes pick on him because, I think he hasn't had that many games. Or when he comes in, it might take him a little while to get going, like anybody would when you're out of the team, because he's really never been a number one centre-back for us as such. He's been more of a number two than not. And, he's bided his time. He was number two to sort of, I think he was number two to Bellerin. I think he was there when Bellerin was there.
Mm-hmm. There he was.
And then Tomiyasu come in. But he's not put his professionalism down. Yeah, he doesn't care that he's not number one. He's saying, I will get there. I will get in front of you. And if I get in front of you, and if I you better play better than me, because if you don't, you're not getting me out. And he has had that attitude. And I'm so pleased that he's staying. You're right what you said. We've got much more other areas that we need sorting out. And it certainly isn't right back. That is one place where we're sorted, and to have Cedric Suarez there is, for me, I'm over the moon. And yeah, Arsenal fans, get on his side because we've got a player here. We've got one hell of a player, and you've got to look at his professionalism, the way he acts in the dressing room as well, around the younger players, what he can bring, what he can tell people, what he can tell the youngsters that he's played in the World Cups, and what it feels like to be a success, because he's won the biggest competitions that there is to win, internationally. This is so important into the side, and Arteta knows this. So big up to Cedric Suarez, and long may he reign, Sir Cedric.
Yeah. Look, we're talking about a backup right back for a player in Tomiyasu who really, I think the first season in the Premier League, I think it took his toll on his body. Like it's a tough league to transition to, from whether you're coming from Spain, whether you come from Italy. I'd say maybe Germany, not playing side, because we've seen players struggle from Germany, but maybe the athleticism is probably closer to the English league. French players don't seem to struggle as much, but yeah, I don't know what like we've got Tomiyasu who's coming, and I can see him playing a hell of a lot more games next season, and I just feel like you've got Suarez there who sits there on the bench, ain't moaning, he's professional, and you can point to players like, look, I'm sure there'll be people out there talking about Jed Spence, but do you think that Jed Spence is going to play at the level that Jed Spence does if he doesn't play for the first 10, 15 games? Are you going to be talking about Jed Spence the same way you're talking about Jed Spence if he comes in and he's got to take 3 games to get into the role of things, and then next thing you know, Tomiyasu's back in the squad? This is what you've got to remember when you're talking about backup players and squad players. Yeah, you want to have your main team. Yeah, you want to have your main 11, and you've got your next line of players who are your first team players as well. So you've probably got about 15, 16, 17 players in the squad who are your first team players. Above that, then you've got your squad players. Then you've got your backup players. Now, it's very hard to keep all of them people happy if everyone is Man City and Liverpool level. If everyone's Man City, Liverpool first team level, you're gonna struggle. The only way you get to do that, to bring in them players and keep them players, if you're in the semi-finals and finals of Champions League, FA Cup, Capital One Cup, and you're fighting to the last day of the Premier League. Exactly how those two clubs were this season. You think that Arsenal or any other team in and around Arsenal, are going to be able to bring in players, bring in a 22 squad where you've got players that are all of the same level, all fighting for the first team? Nah. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the best thing is, people have seen it. People have seen Chelsea try and do it. Don't work. And you saw Chelsea do it when they were winning things and they struggled to do it. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a balance. And if you're going to try and tell me that Zach Swanson's ready, the same way that Charlie Patino was ready, the same way that Amari Hutchinson was ready, the same way that Miguel Aziz was ready, that went out on loan to Portsmouth and had to get sent back because he couldn't handle the physicality. Like, this is what there has to be some sort of balance with the team. And you can't have someone, if you're saying that Tomiyasu is the backup and you want to get someone else in above him, then you need to wait a season or two until we're a little bit higher up the table, full spot, and then we're challenging. Because you ain't going to be able to have a Tomiyasu as backup and keep him happy in the team. Like, it's not going to happen. No. Quick one here. He said, Soon says, Cedric is a liability in transition. It happened multiple times at Southampton United. He's not good enough at the high level. He showed Cedric is also a poor leader. I'm not sure where I need examples of poor leadership. I need examples. In
the dressing room, all I can say to that is that it's known, what the players think of Cedric. So, and that is his leadership in the dressing room. So, when he comes out on the football pitch, he's certainly not a shouter, but he certainly is someone who, for me, don't stop running. I mean, Kieran's just read out the stats for you there of what he's done last season. So it shows you he's more than needed for Arsenal. And yeah, I don't know about lacks leadership. People show it in a different way. Maybe you're not looking maybe you're certainly looking area like Kieran said. Maybe you can whack in there some examples for us. But yeah, no, for me, I'm so pleased that he's staying.
Yeah, I just think, I think the lack leadership, this leader lacks a leader kind of notion it's so wishy-washy. Yeah, because midway through the season, we were talking about how the mentality of the team has changed, how the young team are showing this and they're showing that, and I just feel like it's easy to blast Arsenal and talk about lack of leadership and the lack of minerals when things go wrong, and completely forget about that when things are going right. Yeah, look, everyone has their own opinion. I just don't know where you can get the lack of leadership. If we're talking about in situations where the team's melted, we can point to everyone on the pitch. We can point to everyone. Like if we're talking about the last few games of the season where we capitulated, there's people in that team that are known to be leaders in the team, which were in that team as well. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's an easy one to throw out. I mean, on the pitch, I think he needs to take ownership in big games like Spurs, where it was a calamity. Yeah, okay, but do you know what?
Was it in that area though? I think leaders had to show themselves in different areas against Spurs. It wasn't nothing to do with the right back. It was to do with the midfield. It was to do with the forwards.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you're talking about in a game like that, I'm not sure where I've ever looked at a leader, and this is my own opinion. So I'm not sure if I've ever looked at a leader in those positions. I think when you're talking about a Spurs game, the leadership probably needs to come from the defence and the midfield, and definitely from the sidelines from the manager as well. But yeah, look, as I said it at the start. I didn't mention the guy's name because I wanted to see if anyone could guess who they were, because he divides opinion. He does divide opinion. But for me, I'm not looking for a replacement right back. Tommy Ashu's the number one, and I'm happy with Cedric as number two for the time being. Because I just don't see right back as a priority, and especially a backup right back. I do not see that as a priority in the transfer window, and I'll be very disappointed if they were to go out and get a replacement backup right back instead of another position. Yeah, I'd lose it. I'd absolutely lose it. Next up. Okay. Oh, this man, he put out a tweet. A youngster actually put out a tweet, and this guy retweeted it. Not just retweeted it, on his story, which is madness. Yves Bissouma leaves Arsenal fans dreaming of a summer transfer swoop by sharing suggestions on an Instagram post that he should quit Brighton for the Emirates Stadium to replace Thomas Partey. One fan was particularly impressed by Bissouma's display that he posted on social media that Arsenal should look to sign him along with Yuri Tillemans in the up-and-coming transfer window. Not just that, but Bissouma then went on to post that himself. He went on to post this. So this is the kid put this up saying, "I've been following Yves Bissouma and I think he's one to replace Thomas Partey long term." Actually, the other one's gone. That's a shame. I'll pull it up in a sec. But then the other post said that Arsenal should go and make Yuri Tillemans their priority, but they should do all they can to get Yves Bissouma to replace Thomas Partey long term. Steve, when a player does this, And I'll ask Nathan in a separate one because obviously I need to know from a player side of view. Maybe he's seen it. He's also an agent as well. What his thoughts would be on it. A player's doing this. This is a come and get me play, surely. Which is not going to impress his current employers.
It's a bit of a cringy thing to do. If you ask me, quite embarrassing. It's something I wouldn't do. Come and sign me, please. Come and get me.
We saw Wilfred Zaha do it in a very similar way. He got his friends to do it, and he not. I remember, I think it was last season or season before that. I think he was in a nightclub and they'd put up something on one of the big screens that said, "You're an idiot if you don't sign Wilfred Zaha." So again, these things haven't worked in the past with Arsenal, so I don't know why they're doing it again.
No, I think it was silly doing it. I thought it was ridiculous doing it. It's something that I wouldn't do. I think for me, it's quite embarrassing. If I knew him personally, I'd be saying, "What are you doing? You just made yourself look like a bit of a plank." Because I don't know, it's something I wouldn't do. It's very, very cringy. And when you put out a "come and get me" plea, it's a bit like, no one else wants me, plea. Can you sign me? Because
it's a bit embarrassing if they don't come and get you. That's the thing.
And I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either. It's another one.
This guy's agent.
Go on.
Sorry. This guy's agent is notorious for putting out that he's linked with clubs, and he's not linked with nobody. He's at an age now where he's still playing for Brighton, and for me, he would have got picked up by now if he was decent. I know he's okay. I know for Brighton he plays well. I've watched him. For me, he's not an Arsenal player. I think he lacks discipline as well. Mm-hmm. He's someone I don't want a million miles in Arsenal. That's just as from a fan's point of view. All this Liverpool want him. Liverpool don't want him. Man United don't want him. Man City wouldn't buy him. Tottenham wouldn't buy him. Why would we buy him? You
have to think to yourself. There's a lot of clubs out there with money. Aston Villa have pulled out of any race. And I don't. In fact, I think going off of what Steve said, I think Aston Villa basically shut it down. Not interested.
Yeah, no, he's just not. He's not for me. He's not for me. He hasn't got enough for me. I think there was the thing before when Xhaka, it was all, let's replace Basuma with Xhaka. Well, I'm sorry, I don't see anything that he's got that Xhaka ain't got, especially this season, especially since Arteta's come to the club. I don't see any difference at all. And I'd argue whether he could do the job Xhaka could, and whether he could be as professional as what Xhaka could, and whether he'd get on as well as Arteta as Xhaka could, and would he be that type of leader that Xhaka is in the dressing room? But even on top of saying that he would replace Tom and Partey is even worse, because for me, Thomas Partey's up there and Basuma's down there. For me, he's an Everton. For me, he could be an Aston Villa or a Wolves at best.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's a personal opinion. I know people like him.
I don't know what this kid's bar is because I don't watch him enough. But I agree. I think right now this guy is. I don't think he's Arsenal level right now. I don't. Because I think what you've got to think about, and the reason why I say I don't think he's Arsenal level right now is because is he better than Thomas Partey? No. Is he better than Granit Xhaka right now? No. So why bring him in? Arsenal needs to be bringing in players that are this much better than what we've got. And he's not a number 8. So why are we even talking about bringing him in? So again,
he's not a number 8.
About a £35 million player. Yeah, that is going to be back up to Thomas Partey or Granit Xhaka. Again, for me, it don't make sense. And I can see why Arsenal haven't gone there.
Yeah.
There's obviously the court case hanging over. So, yeah.
For me, he would be bringing us nothing. That when you buy a player, you think, well, you want to buy a player who could bring you something extra, and you think, well, what could Basuma bring to Arsenal that's extra? And for me, there's not enough, and especially like they're talking about 40, 50 millions for him. You've got absolutely no chance. You know, Arsenal ain't paying that.
And Arsenal need a player right now who's that mixture between.
Yeah.
Like Arsenal need a player who's going to get the ball, and he's going to bosh it, and he's going to try and create something. He's going to try and link up with players. He's going to try and score goals. That's not a Basuma.
And Aaron Ramsey, similar sort of.
Similar.
Roundabout.
Similar. Like that's not him. That ain't him. So yeah, I think it was a desperate play from the player. I know the fans would. There's a lot of fans out there that will jump all over that and feel that Arsenal need to. They're going to put the pressure on Arsenal, but it won't work. It won't work. Arsenal are not in for Yves Bissouma. I've heard nothing on Yves Bissouma. Every season I hear nothing on Yves Bissouma except for what's coming out of the fans' mouths. To be fair,
so give him a 20. If you want to give him for 20 million, and he wants to be a bench player and come on for cup games.
Well, the thing is that he's it's getting to that stage, to be fair, because I think he's only got a year left in his contract, so they're going to have to sell him on the cheap. All right. Where are we at now? Let's get a couple of updates. We've got Zinchenko, Steve. What from start to finish? What's the latest on Zinchenko?
Well, just before we come on tonight, I had a quick check up on Zinchenko. That's good. That's hard to say. And apparently there has been talks going on while the Jesus talks have been going on. He was mentioned obviously in the same conversation, and he would come in as a left back, come midfield player, which again would be very sensible for Arsenal because we do need a left back, and I suppose we could do with that midfield cover if need be, but ideally we would need a left. But again, he's someone you're going to have to convince to come to the club and have competition. But he's already got that competition at Man City. So from what I'm hearing from Zinchenko is, unless Man City get another left back in, which I have heard rumours that they're trying to do, then there might be a chance for him to come in. There has been interest, there has been talks, there's been initial talks. But at the moment, it's not advanced and it's still a little way off. But it's again, like I always say, this is one to keep an eye on and not to put in the bin yet.
Yeah, no, because Zinchenko, as we've seen, I think it's just one of them players where, because I don't know, like when you get excited about a player, I feel like there's a certain contingent of Arsenal fans that just would take this player, but they're not excited by him, so they'd want someone else to add to it. But like as you've seen what he can do with Ukraine, he's also played in midfield for Man City as well, and he's a quality left back. I think it would be an excellent signing for Arsenal. If he would come. Like whether he would come, I don't know, because as Steve just said, he's in a similar situation as at Man City. So why would you come to Arsenal over Man City, where you're going to be potentially doing the same thing? Is he the starter in midfield? Is he the starter left back? I feel like he'd have to probably prove his way in both. So I don't see what the point is in him coming to Arsenal to do that. But I would take him. I would definitely take him. I think he's a quality player, and I think he's a brilliant left back as well.
These are the type of players you've got to sell the project to, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right, look, you come in, you can get left back, you can play left back. Okay, if you don't play a few games, look, we've got this player coming in, we've got that player coming in, we want you to come in. We finished 5th this year, we're going for 3rd next year. We've got this coming up. Mm-hmm. That's how you sell a project to these type of players, and then they think, right, well, okay, this sounds good. Looks, I might get more game time here than Man City.
Yeah.
But that's the job of Edu and Arteta, and that's the most difficult job.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It definitely is. All right, let's get a little update on the Gabriel Jesus situation from start to finish. Gabriel Jesus currently agreed personal terms with Arsenal. It feels like Man City and Arsenal edging very close, much closer to working out that transfer fee. We are due an announcement from the player himself. We're expecting to hear that Arsenal will make an official bid, hopefully this week. But yeah, Steve, let's give the roundabout front to back on the Gabriel Jesus transfer so far.
Well, Gabriel Jesus, again, like we said last week, we broke it. We knew that there was talks happening on the 21st of April. And ever since then, there's been, quite a few sets of talks happening over the month. It all started out at 60 million. It's now gone down to the fact that City will probably take between 45 and 55 million euro. So that's where they are. Gabriel Jesus obviously just came back from international duty. He said that when he came back, things will advance and he will let people know his decision when he's coming back. Well, he came back yesterday. So we're looking at hopefully soon hearing something. One thing I probably could tell you is that you've probably seen that there's clubs been linked to Gabriel Jesus. So I'll try and give you a little bit of clarification on that and how close they are. Tottenham haven't made a bid. We keep hearing that Tottenham have made a bid. They haven't. They've never made a bid. You've got to ask yourself at the same time, where's he going to play at Tottenham? He's not okay. They've got Champions League football, but is he going to get in front of Harry Kane? No, he's not. Is he going to get in front of Kulusevski or Perisic? They've just bought them. They don't need to pay another 55 million for a player. You look at Real Madrid. What's he going to take? Benzema's place? No, he's not. They're not interested. It's just paper talk.
Vinicius Junior's place.
He's not taking Rodrigo's place. And
Rodrigo is in and out of the team. And one thing. Yeah.
Val, and it was his name, Valverde.
Yeah, Valverde. But also, he's a non-EU. He's still classed as a Brazilian international. Even if he had British citizenship, it wouldn't work in EU either. Anyway, and Real Madrid already have hit their quota of 3 non-Spanish players in Milito, Vinicius Junior, and Rodrigo, and they've actually had to send Rainier Junior out on loan for 2 seasons to Borussia Dortmund because they couldn't even fit him in the squad, and he was playing for Real Madrid B, and it was ruining his development. So again, another rumour where if you just look past the front of it, you'll get to the backbones. There's nothing behind.
There's nothing behind. You can say the same about Chelsea.
The team that have no owner.
Yeah, they've got Pulisic, they've got Havertz, they got because they play with a different type of front three. They play a front three of sort of flair players, if you like, false nines. Havertz can play up there. Werner's can play up there. Pulisic plays up there. They've still got Ziyech there. They've got an abundance of
Lukaku's still there. £100 million last
year.
He's
still there. He ain't going this season, Lukaku. So they're not going to spend another 55, 60 on. Sometimes you have to sort of think and sit back and have a little look and think. Sometimes no, that's not going to happen because. But then you look at Arsenal and it's all set for us. We haven't got a striker. He comes to us, he plays, he starts, he's in Europe, he plays every game. He's got the World Cup coming up. He'll be playing every game, getting fit, guaranteed of his place because he has played a couple of games on the bench recently for Brazil. He did in his internationals earlier. And look at the fact that things going for him. Arteta, look, he loves Arteta. He says he made him the player he was today. He's got friends at Arsenal. He's got Martinelli there, hasn't he? He's got Gabriel there.
Who? What? This guy?
This guy there. Yeah,
this guy.
Mate. Yeah.
This guy.
So there's a lot of things going. With the agent come out and quoted that we're happy with Arsenal's proposal. And then soon after that, the next day, Gabriel's come back and said, I'm off on international duty. I've told him what I want. It's in the hands of City now. So we know he's not staying at City because they're just that's a joke. That is that they got they've got Alvarez. They could have Alvarez, Sterling, Haaland, Mahrez. It's just Grealish, Foden. That he ain't going to get a game. He's not going to get a game.
And Gabriel Jesus ain't going to go to any other team to then sit in the same situation. So you've got to think about that. The Chelsea one, for me, was I'd shut it down before I even asked anyone. As I said, they couldn't keep Rudiger because they didn't have anyone to sort of back the deal. They don't know what they're doing with Aspilicueta. They don't know what they're doing with Christensen. He looks like he's going to Barcelona. They got no owner, so I don't know how they're going to start bringing in players when deals are already in motion. How they're going to hijack a deal like this early in the transfer window, which isn't even open yet, and they haven't even sorted out their own stuff. So relax, Arsenal fans. I know there's quite a few Arsenal fans fretting, but you don't need to, because I feel like this is definitely a transfer that is going to get done. For me, that's just me saying that.
Yeah. There's no really big news. Everything's points towards Arsenal. And look, if there is a worry, and if there one, because we're not in that boardroom, Arsenal still have to pay the fee.
Yeah, that's the worry. That's the worry. The Arsenal board. Yeah,
that's the worry. Arsenal have got to pay, the fee. Is he worth it? You bet your ass he's worth it.
Yeah, he's worth it.
For me, he's worth 80 million because we need a top international striker who can smash it in the Premier League. Sometimes you've got to pay premium. I know people saying, well, he's only got 1 year left. 40 million is a lot of money. Come on, man.
40 million is not a lot of money. You're still getting the same player. Forget about the contract. You're still getting the same player. Look, Leroy Sané was on 1 year left and just come back from a cruciate knee ligament injury. Yeah. And Bayern Munich still had to pay 37 million for him. And they were reluctant. They wanted to pay like 15, 20 mil for him. Man City were like, no way, you're getting one of the best players in the Premier League. What were you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh no, Man City ain't no mugs. They're not silly. They will get the money that they want for the players. Right.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
All right. So Arsenal fans, stop fretting. You're going to get an announcement from the player within the next couple of days. And I think by the end of this week, it will be very clear what's happening with this player. And I think we could potentially be seeing some bids coming in or something happening. Just keep an eye out. Watch this space. And last but not least, Yuri Tielemans. Let's give us the front to the back on this one as well, Steve. Yuri Tielemans, Arsenal, a deal that Arsenal probably need to look to wrap up as soon as possible. With him more so looking for that Champions League football potentially.
Yeah, they need to get this done because there are other suitors after him. Arsenal have had many talks again with him. Arsenal have made a bid. They've tried a bid for 52. Leicester want 35. And basically, look, that's where we are.
Hold on, Steve. Again, you said 52-35 just before, because I know there's some donuts out there. You said 50. Arsenal put in a bid of 52. They want 35. So just
20,
before,
25. They want 25.
Yeah. I don't want, because I want to put this out. I want to put this out so I don't want people turning around going, he just said 52. He said 52. They want 30. Huh? These lot are clowns. I don't want to deal with it.
Frauds. What do they know?
Frauds. Steve, I had someone. Oh my God. I had
25.
I had someone turn around and say, did you hear him clear his throat? He's just trying to think of things to say. Oh my God.
What? Do you know what? This is all embedded in my skull. I go to sleep at night with these numbers in my head. And what you got to understand, I'm not just a transfer guy for the Arsenal. I've got every number from every transfer in my head. So I do apologise, but it's 25. But Leicester want 32. Right. So I think they'll come in between, and I think we'll see more to this transfer once the Jesus one gets announced. I don't think the Tielemans one will be announced before but we do want a number 8. He's that number 8 we was talking about. you're talking about Basuma not being the man. Well, Tielemans is the man.
Mm-hmm.
There's the difference in the two players. Someone who's got that silky skills, who can do also the running and the chasing, similar to an Aaron Ramsey, Yuri Tielemans, very similar. Basuma, you're the odd one out, and you're in the middle there. You just don't fit into that category of a number 8, which is what Arsenal want. I think we're just going to have to wait a little bit more on that one till after.
All right, but the comments are going crazy. Soon's going nuts. Jonathan's going crazy. Let's give him the answer. What about Skamaka? Sulo striker. We dropped this news the other day. There was actually a bid that went in, but after conversations, it does feel a bit like it's a nothing bid potentially.
Yeah, it's a true bid. The Arsenal are interested in him to answer Soon's questions, and I see Jonathan's asking as well. But the bid was there. They did go for him, which was a bit of a, I did raise my eyebrows, an odd one, but they did it. They did go in. They wanted him, but it was sort of rebuffed instantly by Sassuolo. And he basically said, I don't want to go to Arsenal. I want to go to Inter. And he's on the verge of signing for Inter Milan. I checked it out with our friend Nima, who runs the Sempra website.com. And he's got his fingers on the button, everything. And he says, I'm surprised you even asked me. He's coming to Inter Milan. So true bid. It was real. It wasn't fake. It wasn't newspaper talk. It was true. But it's a non-starter, that one.
All right, cool. Yeah, that is all we have time for, people. Nothing on Gakpo, nothing on Gnabry, nothing on them two. I'll tell you that right now. Nothing on them. Eddie's contract. Just wait. Someone did actually message me today saying that it's going to be announced soon. And Eddie's actually down at Arsenal with his mum or something like that.
That's done, the Eddie one. That's done.
Taking pictures. So it's probably just the PR pictures today, if anything, if that rumor is true. But I will be checking it out.
No, it's been announced. I'm just going to say it's been announced not by Arsenal, but it's been announced by all the right people in the right places. If you're in the transfer game, all the type of people are saying that this is done, bang, boom, finished. So I think you can, unless he does a mad one, changes his mind at the last minute. I don't know, but I think you can be safe in your knowledge. That's if you wanted it to say or not. I'm sure you're happy about the deal. People in the comments, tell us if you're happy. And he'll be staying for 5 years, 100K a week.
All right, cool. So make sure you press that like and subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Press the subscribe button. If you are regular, just press that like. Maybe even press the share. All right. If you are not following the Arsenal Show Twitter, make sure you go and follow that. Make sure you go and follow the Transfer Exchange Show as well, so you can get the latest updates on the Arsenal news and transfers. The Gabriel Jesus one. If you want to be there first to hear the news, make sure you are subscribe to the channel. You are following both of the Twitters, because that is where you're going to hear it first. And also the Tielemans deal as well. So we've got our fingers on the button.
And all those Arsenal fans that are asking me about the sources, a lot of you Arsenal fans are asking me about who the sources are. Well, I'm not going to tell you. So
yeah, I tell you what, yeah, people.
My DMs are crazy.
You don't ask for Fabrizio Romano who his sources are. You don't ask Longari who his sources are, and you don't ask Duncan Castle where he gets his information from either. So don't ask us. Yeah? Don't ask us. Don't ask us. I'll tell you what you can do, yeah? Go and check on our followers, yeah? And go and look down the list. When you start seeing blue ticks, that's where we get the information from. That's all I'm saying. All right. As I say, go and press that like and subscribe, people. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you change the settings so we can see who you are. You're not talking to an egg. And come and join the comment section next time. Press that like and subscribe. Press that share on Facebook as well, because it all helps out.
Yeah. Yeah, good to see some new names in there this week. Some good names.
There are some new names. There are some new
Coming
names.
soon.
Make sure you're pressing the subscribe button as well, people, and press the notification so you don't miss a thing. All right, peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.